Let me ask you a question. Who is your favorite superhero? Now, most people would probably say Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the typical heroes because they've got some sort of special powers or abilities, right? Well, the objective of a hero is to save a world in danger, but what if I told you that you could save the world just like they do? You don't need any powers. Is our world currently in danger? Well, yes. We are facing a problem known as climate change. Now, most people probably know this as global warming, although it's not true in every circumstance. There's a lot more problems than just a rising temperature. Let me explain to you just a little bit more about what climate change is. The biggest contributing factor that we humans are having currently on climate change is the emission of greenhouse gases that we currently are putting out because we are doing things such as generating electricity for our homes, we're fueling our industries, we also need transportation to and from work as well as many other places, but there's a lot more and so many sources of greenhouse gas that it's starting to build up and cause a real problem. Now, what are greenhouse gases? They are gases within our Earth's atmosphere that help to absorb and trap the sun's radiation and help heat our planet. Let's just say if we didn't have them, the temperature on the Earth might be so cold that life wouldn't even be able to thrive and survive on the planet. Our greenhouse gases currently include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, better known as laughing gas, and a few others that include fluorinated gases, but the biggest problem and biggest human contribution is carbon dioxide. Let's have a look at a graph back in 2015 of what the United States greenhouse gas emissions looked like, and as you can tell, carbon dioxide is well in first place, and that is the most abundantly emitted gas. And now we can look at this graph and tell where these emissions are coming from, and as you can see, electricity, industry, and transportation are the biggest three that we are emitting greenhouse gases from currently. And finally, let's take a look at what concentration, how much CO2 is actually in the atmosphere. And as you can tell, in the last 800,000 years, we have not seen levels this high, and that can be pretty scary. So with all of this in mind, what exactly are some of the risks associated with climate change and all of these greenhouse gases? Well, one of the first ones is changes to our weather patterns across the entire globe, really, and that includes hurricanes and typhoons. As we can recall, back in 2005, one of the most powerful storms on record was Hurricane Katrina, and we saw all the devastation that it caused, but it hasn't stopped with Katrina. In more recent years, we've seen a lot of very powerful storms, such as Hurricane Matthew, that made landfall recently along the eastern coast of the United States. Hurricanes will use the warm ocean water temperatures to fuel themselves. The warmer the ocean water, the stronger a hurricane can become. And we've started to see more early hurricanes. Back in 2016, Hurricane Alex formed in January, when it should be almost impossible for hurricanes to form, and already here in 2017 we have a named storm in April, so that's just potentially showing some of the problems that warmer temperatures are starting to cause. The weather impacts do not stop with hurricanes. We have seen a greater number as well as more powerful severe weather outbreaks across the United States, and with severe weather comes tornadoes, one of the most destructive natural phenomena that occur on our planet. And back in 2013 in Moore, Oklahoma, we had one of the most powerful tornadoes ever on record, an EF5 beast, and it can be very dangerous. And let's just have a look and see what it's like live with a tornado bearing down on you. And thank you to Charles Gafford for letting me use that footage of a very risky situation, but very powerful indeed. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, another weather event that we are seeing is actually drought. And with drought comes wildfires due to the dry conditions. And in 2015 alone, 10.1 million acres of the United States burned due to wildfire. That's enough area to burn the entire state of Massachusetts twice. And not only weather events, but we also have wildlife that is actually being affected, especially up north. The polar bears are oftentimes a big topic associated with global warming, and they are truly being affected. Because as summer temperatures increase, the summer sea ice will start melting and the extent of the ice will decrease, which decreases the amount of range that polar bears can hunt for their prey, which are seals. And something even scarier? Polar bears are being so affected that scientists believe we will lose every single wild polar bear we have by the year 2100, almost less than 80 years away. And another species being affected are the caribou, because as the females will take their young out to graze and recover from the burden of pregnancy, they will graze on caribou moss, but due to the quicker arrival of warm temperatures, the moss will bloom a lot quicker, and after that happens, the caribou can no longer consume it, which is starting to lead to a decline in the caribou population. And along with all of this, our oceans too will be impacted quite a bit as sea level will start to rise, not only due to the fact that the warming temperatures will start to expand the water itself, since it expands when it becomes warmer, but also if all the ice melted on the planet, sea levels would rise an incredible amount. And let's just see what that would do to the United States. Here's the United States presently, and if all the ice on the entire planet melted, this is what it would look like, and our flag might need to deduct a star or two, because in case you haven't noticed, where did Florida go? Along with this, the ocean is actually a large carbon sink. It absorbs at least a quarter of atmospheric carbon, and as it does this, the pH of the ocean will decrease, meaning it becomes slightly more acidic, and a lot of things within the ocean are affected as this occurs, such as the coral reefs, due to the fact that they bleach themselves in order to try and survive, but they often end up dying, which means great wonders like the Great Barrier Reef are at risk. As well as the fact that carbonate ions within the ocean are destroyed within chemical reactions, and shell-building organisms cannot use it to strengthen themselves, and we are starting to see decline in those as well. Although all this information can be rather scary and seem almost impossible to fix, we do need to realize that climate change is occurring, and that it's not going to be something that one single person or one group of people is going to be able to fix. It's going to take a group effort, and this is exactly how we can do that. Remember that 30% of emissions being caused by the production of electricity? Energy-saving habits such as turning the lights off as you leave a room or switching to energy-efficient fluorescent bulbs can help cut down on the impact that we have on that 30%. Vehicle emissions are also a big problem, and being able to cut down on those by perhaps riding a bike to places that you need to go, or even taking a nice walk if the weather's nice if your location's close enough. You can save money and save the planet at the same time by checking the insulation of your home. You can cut down on the energy cost as well as the amount of energy needed to heat or cool your home properly. Of the vast amount of water available on our planet, less than 1% of it is fresh and available for human usage, so fixing dripping leaks around your home as well as using low-flow shower heads are very good ways to conserve water. And speaking of water, you can save upwards of $60 a year by washing your clothing in cold water, which cuts down on the amount of greenhouse gas emissions caused by the extra energy usage of your washer. Washing machines as well as other appliances can be upgraded to be more eco-friendly, save you money, and also save a lot of burden on the planet for running them. And there's no need for more production. Why use more resources if we've already got it? The 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Recycling as much as possible can be amazing help to the planet in order to conserve energy to create materials that can be just reused. Want to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? Plant a few extra plants around the home. Not only does it add beauty and is incredibly fun, but plants also use carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, and that can help reduce the total amount and concentration currently in our atmosphere. Above all, though, it is important to realize climate change is an actual thing, and it is occurring every single day. And we can all chip in, make a difference, and spread the awareness, make sure that everyone gets involved, because together we can make the difference to put a stop to climate change. Thanks for watching.